So in this broadcast, I have a bit of a chat with Kelly Hooch Hunt about fishing, shooting, a few other things. Bit of random stuff as well. What do you reckon, Hooch?
Well, it's pretty random, and I mean, I'm new to this sort of game, so if you have me on again, woe betide, I'm sure we can tighten the reins up a little bit, and we might get you out on the big boat.
Well, if you're interested, we did get onto a fish. If you're interested in shooting and fishing and just guys talking crap, then
General malarkey.
Then listen on.
So reverse. So go out the long way, line her up. Try and work something out.
Going anywhere.
I'll try and work something out. I'll try to get a little bit of Farrah Fawcett.
You can't even fucking pull it out.
I'll try and get a little bit of Farrah Fawcett on it for you in a minute.
Yeah, put a bit of hair around it.
I'll get you to hang on to that. If that's okay by you. I don't want to offend. So the tackle. I've bought out some fairly basic tackle today. So don't hate on me. But we're going to try for a bigger than normal salmon with this thing.
Oh, yeah.
That's a bigger than normal salmon lure.
Bigger than normal salmon.
That's a bigger than normal salmon lure.
That's a blackback.
I don't expect a cocky salmon to hit that, but if it does, they are fairly suicidal at this time of the tide. If you pass me your rod tip, please, I'll tie this on.
Oh, I'm glad. Right. Here we go, Hooch.
Thank you very much.
Just try not to hook you.
Drop the bail arm. Hope Mum doesn't watch that because she's always on to me about not using my teeth.
Yeah. The bail arm's not clicking. There we go.
So one thing I've noticed as I get older,
you need a bigger eye in the...
I need to bring my glasses all the time because not so bad in this light, but low light conditions, wow, don't your eyes just fall away? As soon as you hit 45, you think, hello.
Yeah, well, I lasted a little bit longer than 45, but only a few years.
Well, I used to have the eyes of Chuck Jagger.
Oh, jeez.
Good eyes. But now, I've still got the eyes of Chuck Jagger, but he's been dead, what, 10 years? So that there is a bigger than your average bear salmon lure.
Right, we better get people levelled up to what we're actually doing here today. So we thought we'd go fishing with Hooch to pretty much just, should we say, talk shit? And
well, to be fair, you started a podcast and months ago you said, do you want to be on it? And I said, oh, look, I've been on a few podcasts, so I don't know what I'm going to say or why you would want me on it, but I'm quite happy to help you out. It's basically...
Yeah, it's a charity. Is that what you're doing?
Well,
it's all charity.
I don't know about that.
Yeah.
Don't be too hard on yourself.
So the other thing is, Hooch has promised us that he's going to get us on a fish.
Is that true?
Yeah. So we're going to come home with a fish. Otherwise, old Skipper here, he's going to, I don't know, be embarrassed amongst his colleagues.
Well, I'll tell you what.
How come that one's going backwards, mate?
Because it's a jig. It's not really meant to be used like this, but because the salmon are on up here and the salmon are not real fussy, I don't
think they would have seen many fish swim backwards.
No, it'll be fine.
Yeah.
Trust me. It's basically a secret trick you've just give away. The backward swimming jig. Anyway, sorry to interrupt. We're back to the reason why we're here.
Yeah, well, you promised a fish. That's the real reason we're here.
Well, you sure?
Yeah.
I'm not sure.
Well, and your charity for podcasts and stuff. You want to just help out these try-hard podcasters, show us what to do.
True. Well, what I'm going to do is set you up. I want you to
You're giving me the backward one.
Yeah,
does that look a bit like
just to prove a point. Just to prove a point, you can't judge a book by its cover. Hang on to that for dear life. We're about to engage good for go.
Good for go.
And then I'll deal with mine in a minute. So yeah, your backwards lure will take a little bit of pace, but we'll back the pace out of it here in a minute and we'll get into a chat. Because that's what podcasts are all about.
So we're here in the Mersey, the mighty Mersey. So I've been up and down the Mersey a few times, you could say, rowing.
You have?
Not many times fishing. And we can do a bit of tourism while we're here, Hooch.
We can, I can tell you a few bits and pieces.
Yeah, so we've got the boat over there.
The Burgess.
The Julie Burgess. Over there actually there's a bit happening. If you want to pan over there, that's the old Slipway. And who's got that now?
I don't know. Looks like they're doing a bit to it though.
Bridge Pro.
Oh,
Bridge Pro's got the lease on that. So Bridge Pro's going to be doing boat maintenance and stuff.
Well, they've been doing some great work, obviously, with bridges and other contracts, so turning their hand to boat maintenance, why not?
Yeah, they've probably got a few barges they need to use too, you know, so...
They're not going to call themselves Barge Pro, are they?
Barge Pro? Well, I mean, yeah, it'd be better than Barge Arse, it could be Barge Pro.
True.
There was a house there, they've knocked that down, so... It looks like there's a fair bit of stuff happening, but there hasn't been a slipway there for a while, which has been a bit of a pain for the fishing fleet, really, because they've got to go... Some of them have got to go to the mainland now to get their boats slipped.
It's a bit like everything, isn't it? Now, you know, this stuff with the boats, you've got to go slip to the mainland, and there's stuff that we have to do with the wind farms up the northwest that have got to go to the mainland. And I mean, it's really good to see companies like who's doing that?
Like Bridge Pro.
Oh, well, like Bridge Pro, but also the one up at Somerset that Eddie Maguire's got. Can't remember what it is, but I mean, they've set themselves up to rewire those wind farm things, and even rewire the trains. The electric locomotives used to have to go to Western Australia.
Oh, really?
That's just madness. So good on some businesses, and I will remember that Eddie's going to absolutely...
He's going to go.
He's going to go crabby because I've had a mental blank. I haven't had a lot of sleep of late, so been doing a little fossil.
You've just been thinking about this, have you?
No.
Getting ready for this, thinking, shit, if we don't catch a fish,
there's that.
Then I'm dead to the world.
No, I've been doing up a little car for a car show, and it was on the weekend, so I've been...
Like, I saw that.
Yeah.
Like, it's got a blower sticking out of the front of it, and I thought, is that AI? Because, like...
Yeah, that bit is AI.
Yeah, oh, thank God for that. I'm thinking, because you'd actually have to lean out the side to be able to drive the thing.
Yeah, that was AI.
Yeah,
it's actually called a standard 10 because it's got 10 horsepower. And I've had lawnmowers. Well, most people have got lawnmowers, ride-ons with more horsepower than that. But it's an old English car. I'm not an old English car fan, but it was up the back of a shed for $100.
$100.
Just been playing with it, and I've sort of hot rodded it a bit. So
well, you've been slamming your social media on it. You've been just about every nut and bit of grease and whatever.
I get to a point where I think people are going to be sick of it, and then I stop, and they message me saying, "Oh, I haven't seen any updates on the little black car."
Yeah.
And it's crazy. Between 600 and 1,200 people watch those stories, and I do little, and people like my dad. My dad's of an era.
Fan, yeah.
Well, no, not so much. He is of an era that says, "What the bloody hell are you wasting your time with that?" But he sort of picked up what I'm doing by, I'll be walking around Bunnings and total strangers will say, "Oh, I've been checking out the little black car," and he goes, "Who's that?" And I go, "Well, I don't know. They just watch my stories." And so he's sort of picking up what I'm putting down. And the only reason I do it is to offset. Social media is meant to be social media.
Not anti-social media.
But more often than not,
yeah.
it is anti-social media. So I just do what I do, pretty much taking the piss out of myself and bumbling along, just showing people that you can be sort of positive and have a go at things, and not necessarily sit on your couch and have a go at people for doing stuff that, you know, they want to do. Like, it just seems... Like, example, the Foo Fighters.
Yeah. I'm
not a huge Foo Fighter fan. I could care less, but someone asked, "Do you want to go and help sell Foo Fighter merch?" And I went, yep. I ended up at the Foo Fighters, we sold all the merch, and we were watching it, and I thought to myself, what an amazing event this is. The stage and the whole setup was amazing. And I come home 2 days later, and people that weren't even there are hacking on it and throwing rocks at the event, and I'm like, wow. And that's why I do my social media, is just to offset that. I just find it amazing that people can be so negative.
We got to really try and be positive, but as saying that, we're actually going past probably one of the biggest negatives for the state in a little while.
It is hard to be positive about this.
Yeah, you got this great big gantry thing, made in China too, I might add.
Looking good though.
It looks good. Why didn't they build it here though? You got any rationale for that? I don't think anybody's ever said why, but I mean, it's a massive, massive unit, that thing.
Well, unfortunately, we've in the Western world, or Australia, Tasmania, we've got trapped in the government project tax, haven't we?
Yeah.
So it would be nice if a local company would make that, but as soon as they find out that she's a government project, they just start adding zeros to everything, and the Chinese don't necessarily do that, I suppose. So it all comes down to dollars and cents. But
well, what it could have been though, one thing I can think of is maybe they've got a fabricator is actually, you know, based on a wharf somewhere, so they don't have to move it far, because that's a pretty big unit. You imagine if we did that in Tassie, you'd have to bring that here in pieces and then welded up on site, I would imagine.
Yeah, true.
Maybe they've got a big fabricator who does stuff like this and they just stick it straight on the boat from the factory. I don't know. That's the only thing I could really think of.
It's the first time I've actually seen it from any sort of decent angle.
Yeah, it's a big thing, there's no doubt.
And I'm pretty impressed with it, to be honest.
No doubt, that's why they had to drill all these holes down here.
It is hard
to be,
fair
bit of weight in it.
Yeah, my word. It is hard to be positive about, isn't it? Because without, it's a well-worn track.
It's a well-worn track,
but
yeah.
There's projects that are gone bad.
Yeah. Well,
and then there's projects that are gone horribly.
Yeah.
And then there's projects that have had international embarrassment.
Well,
do you know what I mean? It's
so, Hooch, I suppose we better get a bit topical, champ. You were obviously running for Parliament last time.
Can't believe you just champed me. But anyway.
Champ? What do you want me to call you? Hooch?
You do some research on
Champ?
Calling people champ.
Oh.
Anyway, go. What were you saying?
You got me doubting myself now.
No, you're fine, you're fine.
Oh, cock?
Sorry, yeah, that'll do.
Yeah?
That's gold.
It's gold.
Now, what did you ask me, sorry, before I
so you ran for the Labor Party last time, and how was that? I mean, why did you decide to run? Obviously, we were very pleased to have you, but why did you decide to run?
I suppose, long story long.
Long story long,
I was asked, and so I was asked by Sid Sidebottom and Anne Urquhart. Now, Sid Sidebottom was my social science teacher at Don. He was my football umpire when I played for Forth. He lives in Forth, I live in Forth. I get along famously with him, he's an absolute champion. Anne Urquhart, well, she knew my mother at Edgel's, what was called Edgel's back in the day. And so I knew of her, catching up with her in Ulverstone as a kid. And then she waltzed down the floor at the paper mill one day, and she was the organiser for the AMWU, the union that I was a member of at the paper mill. And
so you were out at Wesley Vale, weren't you?
I was at Wesley Vale for 16 long years. Long for the management.
Yeah.
I quite enjoyed it, but I don't think the management did.
Right, written warnings there?
Oh, no, I didn't. Oh, no, I don't actually think I got a written warning, which is probably surprising to most. But, she was the union organiser on the coast, and just through my 16 years there, much like it being an accidental politician, I was an accidental unionist. I don't feel, and I always say that I'm not a unionist, but when I went to high school for the first time, I was one of 5 friends from Forth, and all the other kids were from Nixon Street or Devonport or Lady Lords, and they sort of knew each other, so they were fairly sort of pally. And of course the country bumpkins from Forth copped a little bit of a flogging, and sometimes they'd pair us out from the pack and try to pick on my mates, and I wouldn't have a bar of it. So I spent most of the first 2 years of high school either running from grade 10s or sticking up for mates, and that's who I am. I like to say, nah, hang on, woo, if I see something that's a little bit out of whack. That's where I think my union sort of stuff comes from. And then, like I said, I was asked, and I spoke to Dean Winter, and I'm a community guy. I feel that I represent Braden pretty well. Matter of fact, if you can come up with anyone that represents Braden as well, geez, that's a nice fish. Those people over there are catching some really nice fish. Get the camera on that. Hey, that's a beauty. So,
always a fisherman, eh, Hooch?
Yeah, sorry.
Just straight from, life story to, check out that fish over there.
Fish on.
Yeah.
Well, and I mean, that's what I've been over the years. My pop was a fisherman. My mum is a fisherwoman. My mum taught me how to clean fish, not my dad. Pop was a Somerset lad. He used to go to the Corinna and row boats and fish and crayfish and ring, and I've been a fisherman. I've been a motorbike rider, a 4-wheel driver. I love Sandy Cape.
Yeah.
I hunt. I target shoot.
So Kelly Hunt hunts.
Kelly Hunt hunts, and I had a mate called Adam Fisher who fished.
He fished.
Yeah.
How about that?
We did it together for years. I'm 53, so I can remember when it was nothing for Adam and I to have our 2 Cocker Spaniels and walk through Forth with our shotguns, broken, of course, that's the safe way to do it, and no one would bat an eyelid. Could you imagine if you and I were to walk down the main street of Forth with a broken shotgun?
Well, what we used to do,
Wow.
we used to go up the road shooting possums.
Yep.
And so we get the 22,
Yes.
and we get a bit of electrical tape, and we tape it to the bar,
Yes.
the middle of the bike.
Yep.
And then go up there with the spotlight shining the way.
Yep.
Up Isandala Road.
Yep.
We go to Ronnie Ansell's place, and then we go and we'd pot off a few possums.
Yep.
And we'd bring a couple home for dog food.
Yes.
In the little basket you had on the back of your bike, and we'd have to tape the gun back to the
handlebars.
Oh no, to the the bar, the crossbar.
Oh yeah,
you're sitting on top of.
Yeah, I'm with you.
We'd be riding down the road, 10 o'clock of a night with a gun strapped to the bike.
Proud as punch.
Yeah. Well, actually, speaking of guns, thinking about that as a debate, things have definitely changed a fair bit around guns.
Yeah.
Obviously, when you're a young kid, you can't walk through Forth with a shotgun, whether it's broken or not. So.
And I get it, but I mean, some of the attitudes have just gone, too far, and it's disappointing. What is disappointing, and I don't want to get too down in the nitty gritties, was the knee-jerk reaction that the federal government had on guns. I get we've got to make a change in reality to the tragedy in Bondi, but I would have hoped, the political side and the knee-jerk reaction started coming within 24 hours, and I would have really, really hoped that we would have taken a week to circle around those people that were at that event, that tragic event, that not just the victims, but even anyone that was within earshot of a centerfire rifle, downfield of a centerfire rifle going off, will be traumatised. If you're from the city and you are downfield of a centerfire being fired in your direction, that is traumatic. I would have loved to have seen a week where we just got around those people, got around the victims, the first responders, and not everyone was diving into the political this, and they were making stuff up, and the facts got misconstrued, and it was a terrible time, not only for the tragedy, but for the reaction of all people in the political space. I know I'm a Labor man through and through, but that doesn't mean I have to agree with everything, and I did not agree with how we've handled that.
Well, in a way, guns became a bit of a political issue. Reen Hitting wrote a letter to the gun people talking about how he was going to relax the gun laws. So we actually went through a whole committee process. We got evidence and people talking to people. We did submissions and stuff. The whole thing took about a year. And what we ended up with was just some minor changes to Tassie's gun laws. So we heard all the evidence. We had a lot of people talk about how things should be changed, but at the time it was actually events that undermined the arguments. So for example, people were saying that you should be allowed to have, certain people should be allowed to have semi-automatics because New Zealand, they've got semi-automatics and there's never been a massacre. And then what happened?
Yep.
We had that shooting at the mosque, an absolute outrage, and that was with a semi-automatic. So, and the other thing were about pump-action shotguns. You should be able to have pump-action shotguns. And while we were actually having that committee, there was a guy who ran around in Darwin and shot, I think, 3 or 4 people, and his weapon was a pump-action shotgun, and that's why he was able to kill that many people. So,
just on that note, and just for some clarity, a pump-action shotgun will shoot 5 rounds very quick.
Yeah.
One, though, it has to be a reasonable quality one because a lot of them aren't, and they'll jam up on you. So there's that. But also, once you shoot the 5 rounds, you've got to load it. Now, I don't want to have a scare campaign and ban side-by-side shotguns, whether they be side-by-side or under and over.
Yeah.
But I'll shoot 15 rounds through a side-by-side quicker than you'll shoot them through a 5-shot auto. Because you pull the trigger twice, you eject the rounds, you put 2 in, you can do that, over and over and over. But with a pump-action shotgun, yes, you can shoot 5, but you've got to reload it, and it's awkward. So the point I'm making here is, what do we ban and what don't we ban? Because we can say we should ban the lot because they're all dangerous. But if you've got an aggrieved person that is so out of their tree, that is going to do something, look at the guy that built the tank out of the bulldozer in America.
Right.
That's, that guy?
Yeah.
So what do you do, ban bulldozers? I know it's a real silly argument at times to say, cars kill people, why don't we ban cars? But if we look at it, if you're aggrieved enough and you're mentally unwell enough, then you're going to use those beach rocks over there to do some damage to someone.
Well, you can
do you know
drive
what I mean?
A nail through a 4x2.
Exactly. So I think that we just need to realise that we need to have a real sit back and a think about stuff, and the too hard basket needs to be delved into. And the too hard basket is, oh yeah, but how do we do that? How do we find the people that are grieved? How do we do this? Oh, it's all too hard. Well, if it's all too hard, then we're just going to have to wear the fact that occasionally there's going to be some horrific things, and I don't want to do that. So get in the too hard basket, work out what we need to do, throw some money at that, and not a buyback scheme for guns that the criminals aren't going to hand in. See, that does my head in.
We don't actually know what the buyback is. So that's
no,
the
I
other
get
thing.
that.
So
yeah.
And there's a different argument depending on what the buyback actually is. So if it's a buyback for people who've got a gun and don't want it anymore,
yes,
that's different, isn't it?
I get that.
So,
yeah,
or
that's a bonus.
If it's a buyback because you're only allowed to have a certain number of guns, whether that be 5 or 10 or whatever.
Well, we go.
So
right.
That's a different argument.
That's a different
again.
argument.
Or it's another argument again if it's suddenly there's a new class of gun that's banned and you've got to do a buyback. So those are three different things.
Yes, I get
so
you.
when people are saying we should have a buyback, I'm still not sure what we're actually talking about.
Exactly.
Because I know in New South Wales they've limited the number of guns and that's why they're doing their buyback.
Well,
but that becomes a pretty difficult argument. So for example, in my family, we've got a couple of guns that my great-great-grandfather had,
yes,
and my brother's got them.
Yep.
He was going to inherit them, but Dad's not on the farm anymore, so
yep,
he's given up his licence. So Steve's got the family guns, and so he's got some other guns for hunting. And so what is he going to have to make a decision sometime down the track that he's going to have to hand in guns, and it might be those heirlooms.
Exactly.
Because they don't really make a difference between an heirloom and a currently active.
Yeah, true.
Use.
And I mean there are options, but it just becomes an ingress on people to have to make those guns so they don't work and all this sort of stuff.
Yeah.
So yeah, it is a bit of a shame, and there's lots to work through. But I'll go back to the point I made. Just the knee-jerk reaction within actually just pass me that black file. Actually, I'll get it.
Mm-hmm. Well, I mean, things have changed a hell of a lot. Like talking about when we were kids, like when I was a kid, I think for my 16th birthday, I went down to Mitre 10 and booked up a gun on Dad's account.
It would have been an old,
and that was my birthday.
Sterling.
22.
Sterling 22.
Yeah, so it had a magazine with about 15.
Probably. Look out, he's on. He's on. We can't be talking about such a serious thing as guns when you've got onto a salmon.
I reckon it is.
You're going to eat this too.
I reckon this is a bit bigger than the last one.
You're eating it and I'm off the hook. But you're going to eat it. So bring him round here and I'll try and get him in the boat. Again, wet hands, and there he is.
Right.
You're eating that and I'm off the hook.
I'm eating that.
Yep.
Right. Good work, Hooch.
Nice little salmon. What we'll do is we'll put him in the live well. That way he'll be fresh as a daisy. So in the live well he goes. Tidy work. And
there you go. That's what you need to do when you fish. You need to talk about guns.
He doubted me on that backwards lure, didn't he? He was not having a bar of it.
Look at this thing. It's yeah.
So just to sign off on the guns thing, I had a conversation with someone that is a very dear friend, and I rang him up and said, look, I'm concerned about this federal carry-on about limiting people to 8 guns. And the person that I've got a lot of respect for said, well, there's no reason why anyone should have 8 guns. I said, well, I've got 10. And well, that's ridiculous. I said, well, not really. I said, and I said, I know that they're an avid reader.
Yeah.
And I said, well, that's just like saying that it's silly to read 10 books a month. And he said, oh, how ridiculous. And he got a bit crabby and angry, and I didn't have a chance to say, but where I was going with that, well, if you read 10 books a month and 3 of them are about making homemade bombs, there's a problem, isn't there? Do you know what I'm saying?
I'm not sure where you're going here.
Well,
just explain what you use your 10 guns for.
Well,
it's probably the better way to talk.
So here's the go, right?
So you got a slug gun, have you?
No, I used to, but I gave that away the last time. So I've got a 22.
Yeah.
I've got a 22 I teach the kids gun safety.
Right.
I've got a side-by-side that's an heirloom.
Yeah.
I've got
shotgun,
an under and over. Shotgun, sorry. I've got an under and over
shotgun.
I've got a 17 HMR, which is a small rimfire round.
Yeah.
I've got a 222.
Yeah.
I've got a 2506. Now I've lost count.
Yeah, I have 2.
2506. Oh, did I say 222? No, I didn't. I've got a 222, and the reason I've got a 222 is because 223s are all the rage in Australia. But as a kid, my dad had a thing called a shooter's Bible, and it didn't have a cover on it. And I read it from front to back about 100 times. And they had an article in an American book it was, about the 222, and I just fell in love with it as a kid, so I got myself a 222. And my 2506 is built on a Mauser frame, and so it's a rebarreled Mauser action, and it was built by this Bill Hambley Clark Jr., who is a South Australian gunsmith. This was an accident. I found this gun at the back of Bothwell rifle. Bill Hambley Clark Jr. is a gunsmith who was well regarded in America. Now that's saying something. If you're a centerfire gunsmith and you're well regarded, so that was one thing. But then I found out that Bill Hambley Clark Jr. shot 2 lions in South Australia in the 60s when they escaped and ate the handler.
So they escaped from a zoo, or what?
They escaped from a zoo. The zoo came to Adelaide in 1960 something or other. 2 lions escaped, ate the handler, and it's on YouTube in black and white. You YouTube Bill Hambley Clark escaped lions, and it's amazing.
And he's gone hunting the lions.
The police are all there with their old 303s and 38 revolvers, and Bill Hambley.
So there's not many lions about though, Hooch. So.
No,
you've got the gun as an heirloom.
No,
almost.
I haven't. The 2506 is a fabulous fallow deer round.
Yeah.
So So the 2506.
So what sort of stuff do you go shooting, Hooch?
Kangaroos.
Yeah.
Rabbits.
Yeah. There's plenty of them around at the moment.
Plenty of them. And deer. And occasionally if farmers want me to take possums, like you said, you'll get people go, oh, why would you want to shoot a possum? Well, brush-tailed possums they do a lot of damage.
Yeah.
And at times you've got to remove them. Wallabies. So
wallabies.
In and around the dairy farms when I was a kid, we had a dear friend of mine, Peter Fisher, who played a lot of cricket. He was a senior cricketer when I was under 16s, and he would ask us to come up and help him keep the wallaby off his property, because the wallaby of a night eat the grass his cows need to eat to make milk. So,
well, I remember like at the farm at Gawler when I was a young fella, you'd hardly ever see a wallaby, and now you see them down right to the coast. They're everywhere. Roadkill right in the middle of town. It's just unbelievable how many wallabies there are.
It just goes to show you, back in the day, how the kids of the country communities and regional communities would keep the wallabies down. Yeah. Because I give you the tip. When I was a kid, if there was a wallaby in 22 Stephen Street, it was in some strife. That would have been an exciting moment. Oh, I would have been on the phone.
You know, the young viewers aren't going to know what you're actually doing there.
Oh, so I'm ringing.
You're ringing, yeah.
The wall phone. So yeah, okay, we've done.
But there's obviously a need for guns. I remember when I was growing broccoli that you had to go take out the rabbits, because each little broccoli seedling that you planted cost you, I don't know, 50 cents. And so a rabbit had come along, especially when you just planted them, and in one night snip a whole heap of them. Oh. And there goes your profit. So you'd have to have a bit of a campaign on rabbits, otherwise you wouldn't be making any profit out of that crop. And you can see even today, driving up the Don Hill, there's a farmer there he's planted some broccoli or collies or something like that. Yep. And everywhere close to cover, you can see something's come along and it's eaten all the seedlings. So,
well, I've got one more thing to talk about, the guns, and then we'll leave it.
And then we'll
drop it.
We'll put a line under that.
We'll put a line under that one.
Out. Yep.
But I want you to get on the helm, because I've done all the hard work and put you onto the fish. So you pile on the helm.
I'll try not to drop the rod in the meantime.
No, that's all right. Get on the helm and the pressure's off me.
For all the trolls out there, I do have a boat driver's licence. So.
Excellente. Oh, so just to finish off on the guns, and we spoke about the 10 and the whatever and the number, and like I saw a very good point made by someone that said that, like, I just reeled off why I need them.
Yeah.
But here's the thing, I don't necessarily do need them, but I live in a country area, rural, and I enjoy my target shooting and my hunting. So as an Australian, why can't I have them? That's what I'm saying.
Yeah.
And so, all right, if you live in the middle of a city and you don't do any target shooting and you don't go hunting, yeah, okay, ask some questions to some people. Why have you got 10 guns? I think that makes perfect sense. But I saw someone explain it quite well about the analogy around the golf clubs. That's what my guns are all about. I can't just have a 308. If I had a 308 centerfire and rocked up to Peter Fisher's to shoot wallabies around his cows, he'd have a pink fit. Not only that, his wife would be a little bit upset at 12 a.m. when I start rocking rounds down through the front paddock with a 308, so I've got a 17 HMR or a 22. And they use the analogy of golf clubs because you can't putt with your 3-wood.
Yeah, that's right.
So I think that's great. And if you go back to the knives, like Hellfire, we're going to be in trouble if we're in Victoria. So you've caught a fish, we're going to have to fillet it. Like, woe betide me for owning knives. I'd be in a lot of trouble if I was in Victoria.
Well, I'd be in a lot of trouble if I was going to mutiny as
We've
well.
got 2 filleting knives, we've got a bait knife, we've got a boning knife, we've got a heavy knife for dealing with gurnet, we've got this one here for doing stripy trumpeters, and so...
And you're obviously serious because you got the stone in there.
Yeah, I don't,
sharpened.
yeah, but...
The steel and the stone.
You've got to be pretty good to use one of these, and I'm not.
Oh, I can do that.
Yeah, I'm not very good at those. I see butchers use them, and I just go, wow, that's
What?
impressive. Yeah.
You've only got the steel in there for show.
No, I use it, but not like my dad's mates that were butchers. We used to have one of my mates, Dad's mates, Uncle Barry. He wasn't my uncle, but you know, back in the day when everyone was your uncle. So Uncle Barry would come around, and as a 10-year-old, I'd watch Uncle Barry drop the intestines out of a sheep, and Dad would say, "Well, get that in the wheelbarrow, boy." And then I'd come back and watch Uncle Barry do some wild stuff on the steel, and then he docked the thing up into tasty lamb chops. And as a kid, I was just amazed.
You just got to watch the zip there as you're going around there with those knives.
Yeah, true.
I had my dissection kit when I was at uni. We used to have to dissect animals and stuff like frogs, and to teach anatomy and in zoology and stuff.
Probably learn anatomy.
Yeah, and we had scalpels and stuff, and I had my little, it was only about that big, and I did the zip up, and the scalpel was sticking through it, and it went clean through the middle of my thumb. Like it actually went in about half a centimetre of my thumb, just went straight through as I was going around with the zip.
Bled.
Oh, bled.
Clean cuts bleed.
Like a stuck pig.
We're not the ABC, are we? Can we do a gratuitous plug?
Well, the thing is though, I'd probably dissected some bloody cane toad or something with it.
Oh.
Yeah.
Yeah, you could have got
I could have got a nasty infection. I could have been a pandemic, mate.
Could have been.
Yeah.
What about my gratuitous plug I'm about to make?
You can make a gratuitous plug then.
Available at Nubco. Big bag of knives. That has been an absolute godsend.
There you go, Nubco, like and share.
But I suppose we'd best get back to the question you asked before, and I got a little bit wound up about a passion of mine that is hunting and target shooting, and it was about why I ran.
Oh yes.
And but I think we know why I ran, because I said I was asked. But
I think
would
it's
like
a bit more than that though.
Oh yeah, but I'd just also like to share the fact that I enjoyed it immensely. Like, it came from sort of nowhere.
Yeah.
Like I say, I've not got a political aspiration other than I was asked, but I really enjoyed it, and I think people were a bit taken that I went down the housing side of things, and I got over here at East Devonport and was very interested about the also the community house, not just the housing issue. But I got into the back of Burnie and some other areas down the West Coast and in and around the coast here, and the lack of housing opportunity is just unbelievable, and the lack of support for the community. I was blown away by the work that goes on in that community house and how little they are supported. And I was we went. So James O'Malley and I, we went to the Thursday breakfast, and so we took some eggs because they do eggs and bacon, and it was just amazing to see the people come and need support just on getting the kids some breakfast to get to school. And I mean, I think everyone thought that I was going to run on a platform of the fishing and the hunting, but it was more. I really got my teeth into supporting industry that can allow kids to get jobs. Because I've got four kids, and I want Tasmania to be very prosperous, and we can't be prosperous if we say no all the time. And Tasmania's got into a bit of a bad habit of just being a default no. And the default no is dangerous on a belief system. Like, I am much more impressed with a considered maybe than this default no based on NIMBYism, and it's frightening.
Well, it's like the first answer's no, the second answer's no, third answer's no, and then you get to a maybe. I think that's sort of
I think a default maybe based on the facts and actual data and detail is a lot more healthier than just a default no.
Well, I mean, I've done a bit of travelling, as you probably heard. Like, exchange student, but also when I was in the Australian team, we used to travel. You're right there, Hooch?
No, you're right. You keep going.
And you see things overseas that that everybody doesn't bat an eyelid at, like cable cars, for example.
Yes.
So just about everywhere you go, there's a cable car.
Oh my
somewhere.
God, you've gone there.
I've gone there, yeah. One of the best trips I think I've had. So I was training in Lucerne in Switzerland.
Yes.
And you take this ferry around the base of the lake. So Vierwoldstad Sea, I think it's called.
Yeah.
Big lake, right?
Is that how you pronounce that?
Yeah, Vierwoldstad Sea.
Yeah, right.
Anyway, I think so. Anyway,
that's close.
Yeah, my
You've either
accent's
butchered that or it's spot on.
Oh, well, I think, see in the comments. But you sail this nice boat. You do a bit of a cruise around the lake, right?
Yes.
And you pull up at the bottom of this steep mountain and you get a funicular railway, right?
Yes.
So it's a railway line that's set at 45 degrees and it runs on a cog and it goes zoop and it runs up to the top of Mount Pilatus, right?
Yep.
And it's got this building up there that I swear looks like a Bond Lair, like a James Bond Lair that you'd see, the guy with the cat stroking the white cat, and he'd be sitting in this building because this is just perfect for it, right? And you can see it right from the town of Pilatus, of Lucerne. You can see this, Bond Lair up in the mountain. Anyway, so this railway line takes you straight up, and then on the way down you can take a cable car.
Yep.
So the first cable car is a really big one, and then you get a small, and then you get out of that like a big gondola thing, 30 people in it, and then you get into ones that's got about 5 or 6 people in it, or maybe 8, and then you go down a bit further and then you catch a bus back to Lucerne. So Lucerne is this ancient city, and it's famous for this wooden bridge that's built in the 12th century and stuff. There's a castle wall you can walk around and all that sort of stuff. And you look up to the mountain, they've got a Bond Lair and a cable car, right?
Yes.
So, if you can have it there, why can't you have it here? And every time we want to talk about that, everyone's first answer is, oh my God.
And I mean, it's...
nobody, it'll ruin everything. Kids won't get Christmas presents, all sorts of stuff.
It is disappointing because, it's easy for me to say because I don't live there underneath it. And I do respect the fact that if you've lived there all your life and you don't want to see a big pylon, well, surely that just becomes a discussion point in a negotiation. And if the government wants to have a cable car, and if a private operator wants to have a cable car, I think it'll be amazing. Then you need to negotiate with those people that have dug in, and I don't know, I'm no expert, but offer them 4 times of what their house is worth, and they might change their mind.
Yeah, well, there's some people who I don't think will ever change their mind, but what do the silent people want, I suppose? So I reckon if there was a cable car up Mount Wellington, I'm pretty sure you could design it so you couldn't see it, right? And people who come to Hobart would do 3 things, I reckon. They'd go to Mona, they'd go to Salamanca Market, and they'd go on the cable car.
I wouldn't catch a flathead.
Well, yeah, you're not allowed to catch a flathead. Yeah, for who knows how long.
Yes.
But I think it'd be fantastic, but you could do it in a way that, wasn't smacking people in the face and offensive. But then there are people that doesn't matter. I don't care what the design is. I don't care if you could see it from 10 metres away. You can only see it from 10 metres away. I just don't want it.
Yeah, so, and that is a huge problem, isn't it?
Yeah.
Well, I don't understand what we do about that. It seems like an insurmountable problem at the minute. But you sound like you're right on the cable cars. Maybe the next time you should have a platform of maybe a sequence of cable cars up across the overland track.
Well, I think, maybe not the overland track, because first of all, it's pretty hard to get to it.
Think big. No.
Well, there was actually supposed to be a
first cable car can be here at the end of Novotel Bank, straight up to Mount Roland, then we go across.
Yeah, well, there was actually...
It can be done.
There was actually supposed to be a cable car to get to Dove Lake at Cradle Mountain.
Let's go.
Well,
let's go.
The only thing is that the feds put the money up, but the state government, the Liberals, didn't actually get the contracts and stuff.
Okay.
The whole thing's died in a ditch. So, and the state government are busy blaming the federal government. The federal government saying we had the money, and you just didn't do the paperwork.
Plus, I suppose it would have not been. Was it passed? Was it ready to go?
Oh, ready
to break ground?
I'm not exactly sure.
Maybe they thought, well, what a waste of time this would be with the default nose.
Well, you've got the buses that take you there now, and
Well, it all comes down to OH&S, doesn't it? And a bit of a duty of care, because the buses, like, you've either got to fix the road. Oh no, you can't fix the road.
Well, you can't widen it.
Well, what if we go over the top of it and don't put a foot on it and build a cable car? Oh no, you can't build it. Well, what can we do?
Well, you know, another way to think about it is the stuff that we've done in the past that there's no way we'd get away with it nowadays, right?
You're going a bit slow, I reckon.
Yeah, you keep.
That's the fish base.
That's the fish base, right? I'll get you on a fish now, Eddie.
Get me on something a bit bigger than that one I got.
Do you imagine if there wasn't a road to Cradle Mountain, right?
Yes.
If we wanted to build a road to Cradle Mountain right now.
Yep.
Do you reckon we'd be able to do that?
Well, the only way that would have got done is someone would have had to.
Because someone did
it. Would
it.
have had to have been a third. It would have had to be a hydro project or something of a mine's nature, because.
Well, the thing is there was sort of, they started going up there with all sorts of those old cars and stuff, even things that look like half a tank and half a car to get up there back in
Yes, I'm with you.
But then you think about, right, imagine if you wanted to build an airstrip at Melaleuca. I've done the South Coast track, flew into Melaleuca on that airstrip, which is basically just a gravel airstrip. That was built by Denny King, obviously, the tin miner, who was mining tin down there.
Yep.
And he thought he got a bit tired of having to ship out or walk out, and so he got in the bulldozer and built an airstrip, right?
Yeah, nice.
And then when he wanted to get a bigger plane in, he got back in the bulldozer and made that airstrip a bit bigger. And that's the reason why we've got the airstrip down there.
Can do. Just lucky he didn't go over any tiny little snails.
Snails or something. But imagine if you wanted to do that now, like if there wasn't an airstrip at Melaleuca, there's no way you'd have. So sometimes
I think you've got a little bit of a wide berth.
Yeah, you got to look at the bigger picture sometimes.
Yeah, my word. So yeah, thoroughly enjoyed the election.
The experience.
Thoroughly enjoyed it. Really loved getting about, talking to people and understanding their experiences and plights, because there were some things going on that I just didn't even have any comprehension of how tough people are doing it in certain instances. And the thing that was also really annoying was the Bendigo Bank just whips itself out of the West Coast.
Yeah.
The Bendigo Bank builds itself on a community bank of regional, assistance, and what do? They come out of the West Coast.
Well, the other thing is how those banks are actually set up is they get donations from the community, you get this whole community spirit thing going, and then they pull the plug.
I mean, the ones that are making fistful of dollars hand over fist, why can't they subsidise Queenstown?
Yeah.
For the sake of, what they're all about. But yeah, that was hard to be involved, because I went down there to a meeting and they're all, like, just because you run, they think you're going to be able to do something, and I wish I could have done, but I mean, I was just a candidate. I mean, you can just see on people's faces that they are really, worried about their future, worried about their kids' future. If there's no bank here.
Yeah.
And I mean, just something simple as handling the pays and doing the end takings and the safety of people being able to go to a bank and put it in a stronghold. So yeah, it was really good to get stuck into that community stuff.
So was there anything that surprised you about the whole process?
Only really that. What surprised me? Let me have a think. I wasn't really surprised, but I suppose. To be fair, I did learn something, and that is to get out of your own comfort zone and to get out of your own space, and like the community house.
Yeah.
I just didn't have much of a clue. Like, I knew it existed, I knew a little bit about it, but when I really got into the nitty-gritty, I just thought to myself, what an amazing thing that is going on with such a limited amount of resources. And to be fair, volunteers, to be more, and I just thought that was amazing. What else did I really enjoy? It's hard to really say because it was a while ago now, and I've actually. What I will say is I'll do it again.
Do it again.
Yeah. I'll definitely do it again. Again, I don't have any political aspirations, but I've done it once. I really enjoyed. After the election, people that came up and said that I voted for you and this is the reasons why, and I think that filled me with a little bit of self-pride, because they understood that I stood for Braden and the community and four-wheel driving and motorbike riding and hunting and fishing and those things that can be forgotten about, because electorates down in other areas are a lot different and may as well be from a different planet. You know that, being a sitting parliamentarian, that Braden is a fairly unique space.
Yeah, absolutely.
And given some of the other electorates around the state, it's important to have people that are born and bred and understand the communities of Braden right across. And I suppose I was lucky, you know, born in Savage River, grew up in Forth, family on King Island, spent a lot of my life roaming all across Braden. So yeah, it was good fun, good fun.
Right, well, we'll have you back in the fold at some stage then, Hooch.
Yeah, like I'll just do my thing and continue doing what I do, and if the opportunity arises and I'm asked again, I won't do it without being asked. Like I'm a bit of a vampire in that sense. You know, I'm not going to come into your house unless you ask me.
Yeah.
But if I'm asked to run again, I'll run. I'm not, like I say, I'm not jumping up and down and want to do this and want to do that in a political sense. I'm just keen to help. That's basically where I sit on it. You're in a bit of current now, so that's why we got a little bit of side shift going on. So you'll just have to be mindful of the side shift while we go up through the middle here. Try not to have that hit you in the face if you can help it.
Yeah. Now what are we doing?
Just keep sort of going at this pace, you'll be right. We're going to, whoa, now. Oh. That's fine. Now all you do is steer the bum round and give it to her. Yep, and give it to her straight. Make sure you're straight. Give it to her. Give it to her. Woo. And hang on. One more. Give it to her. You're on, man. Tidy work.
Oh, I gotta
Like some sort of seasoned campaigner.
lift the motor all the way up.
Yes, thanks, mate.
Good job, mate. You got it first go.
Yeah, like I'm good. You got to do some TV magic on that one.
No, that was fine, and I think you'll find, given the tide roaring out of here at the minute and the wind, that was well done.